Hello students, after understanding what is pH and the dissociation constant of a weak acid, here we will continue with the calculation of pH. The problems usually asked based on the calculation of pH. So before we go ahead with that, try to understand the steps to be followed in the calculation of pH. Okay, so just you have to remember 7 steps, and after completing this the stepwise procedure of calculation of pH, I will take up a problem and solve it. So try to understand, for a weak acid, the dissociation constant, how it can be calculated, or by knowing the dissociation constant, how can you calculate the pH? Okay, so step 1, the species present before the dissociation are identified. Means it may be a weak acid, how it is present, and if there are 2 substances, which is a Bronsted acid and which is a Bronsted base. Okay, you already understood what is acid and base according to different theories, and among the 2 substances you have to understand which is a Bronsted acid and which is a Bronsted base. Okay, so that is the first thing, you have to identify which is acid and which is base. Second step, balanced equation for all possible reactions. Now when I say all possible reactions, we usually get 2 reactions here, so you have to write a balanced equation. So second step, after identifying which is acid and which is a base, you have to write a balanced equation. Step 3, the reaction with the higher Ka. You know what is Ka? Dissociation constant of a weak acid. So among that, which has got a higher Ka, that you have to identify, and that equation where the Ka value is higher, that is considered as a primary reaction. That means it is a principal reaction, it is a main reaction. So where the Ka value is higher, that is considered as a primary reaction, and the other one, the remaining one, is considered as a subsidiary reaction. Okay, so first identify which is acid and base, then write the balanced equations, then as per the Ka values, consider which is a primary reaction and which is a subsidiary reaction. That is a step 3. Okay, now step 4, analyze the tabular form. Means you have to identify many details about the reactions, the major or principal reaction what we consider. The following values you have to consider for the different species. Okay, it is only for the primary reaction, not for the subsidiary reaction. So which all the values you have to write in the tabular form? One is the initial concentration C. I told you in the calculation of Ka earlier. Change in the concentration proceeding to the equilibrium in terms of alpha, that is a degree of ionization or a degree of dissociation, and the equilibrium concentration. So all the 3 you have to note. First one is initial concentration, then the change in concentration which proceeds towards the equilibrium. Okay, that is in terms of alpha, that is a degree of dissociation, and the next one is the equilibrium concentration. So the concentration left after particular time, as well as the concentration at equilibrium point. So remember, these are the 3 values you have to represent in the tabular form. For which reaction? For the primary reaction only. That you have to remember, not for all the reactions, only for primary reaction. So after writing that values of initial concentration and concentration at equilibrium, now step 5, substitute the equilibrium concentrations into equilibrium constant equation. You know what is the equilibrium constant equation? For the given dissociation, we can write equilibrium constant equation. There you substitute the value of equilibrium concentration only for the principal reaction. So what you have to remember here, all these things we do for a major or the primary reaction only. So substitute the values of equilibrium concentration. I told you in the previous step, that is step 4, we will mention the concentration at equilibrium. No, that values you have to substitute. Okay, now once you substitute, you will get the values easily. That is a value of Ka. So step 6 is calculate the concentration of species in the principal reaction, which all the unknown values are that you have to find out. Okay, and once you find out that values, you can easily substitute in the last expression. So finally we can get a pH value easily. So calculate the pH in the form of a negative logarithm to the base 10 of hydronium ion concentration. So I hope you understood. There are 7 steps in the series procedure in calculation of pH for a weak acid or weak electrolytes. Okay, so major thing here is based on the Ka values, you have to predict which is a primary reaction, Okay, after balancing the equation, we consider only the primary reaction. We will write the values as initial concentration, concentration after time t, equilibrium concentration, then substitute in the equilibrium constant expression, then simplify, finally we'll get the value of pH. Okay, so this is a simple steps for calculation of pH. Okay, you understood the methodology, how to calculate a pH and a concentration of different substances in dissociation. Let me take up one problem. Okay, you'll understand with this how the 7 steps we proceed. Look at the problem. The ionization constant of HF is 3.2 into 10 to the power minus 4. So when you read the problem, you have to understand what is given. Ionization constant of HF. HF is a weak acid, so this is a Ka value. Okay, dissociation constant of HF is given as a 3.2 into 10 to the power minus 4. Now, calculate the degree of dissociation. Means you have to find out the value of alpha, what we represent, of hydrogen fluoride in its 0.02 molar solution. So what is this 0.02 molar? That is the initial concentration which we represented as a C. Calculate the concentration of all species present, means hydronium ion, fluoride ion and HF in the solution, and pH is to be calculated. So what you have to do, we have to calculate the value of alpha, the degree of dissociation, and you have to get the concentration of the 3 substances, the 2 dissociated ion and 1 undissociated weak acid, and finally you have to calculate pH. Okay, so first try to understand what I told you earlier, the different steps to be followed. First you have to write the balanced equation for the dissociation. So it is given for a aqueous solution of HF. So HF dissolved in water forms H3O plus and F minus. Equation is already balanced, and for that the Ka value is given here. Okay, I didn't write anything new. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ Ka value ಅಂದ್ರೆ dissociation constant already ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಅದನ್ನ substitute ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೇವೆ 3.2 into 10 to the power minus 4. Okay, then the second equation, when I told you it is an aqueous solution of that, water dissolving forming hydronium ion and OH minus, this is the ionization constant or ionic product of water 1 into 10 to the power minus 14. I told you, you have to select the principal equation, you have to select the primary equation among these two based on the Ka values. Students, can you understand? Among these two, which is the higher value? Ka value for a dissociation of HF is given. Kw, that is ionic product of water, is given. Okay, ನಿಮಗೆ ನೋಡಿದ ಕೂಡ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗ್ತದೆ ಈ ಎರಡು ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವುದು ಹೈಯರ್ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂ. Ka value, the first one is higher. Okay, so whenever the higher value of Ka is there, that equation is taken as a primary equation. So all the continuation of this solving a problem is based on the primary equation. So remember, Ka value is far greater than the ionic product of water or the second value there. So first equation is taken as a principal equation. Okay, so you have to understand, just writing equation is not great. After understanding which is having a higher value of dissociation constant, select the principal reaction. Why I am giving importance to that? Because all the further solving a problem is based on the primary equation only. This is not considered anywhere. Okay, are you clear? So this is the first step. You write the equation, select the primary equation based on the Ka value. Okay, are you clear? Yes. Now let me proceed. Okay, I told you the primary equation is based on the higher value of Ka. HF plus H2O gives H3O plus and F minus. There is a reversibility. Okay, now what is important thing I told you in the next step, you have to write the values in the tabular form, the initial concentration, the change in concentration after time t, and the equilibrium concentration. So we discussed this in the deriving equilibrium constant or dissociation constant in the previous class. So initial concentration that you usually represent as a C, 0.02. ಕೇಳಬಹುದು ನೀವು, ಈ 0.02 ಎಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಬಂತು? ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇದೆ. Initial concentration of HF is given as 0.02 molar. So that is a concentration. We will write here 0. You know the answer there. Why we write 0? Because we take only the reactants in the beginning. We are not taking a product. Product is to be formed during the reaction. So ಇಲ್ಲಿ 0 ಯಾಕೆ ಬರೀತೇವೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರಾಡಕ್ಟ್ ಫಾರ್ಮೇಶನ್ ಆಗಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಅಟ್ 0 ಟೈಮ್. ವೆನ್ ಟಿ ಇಸ್ ಈಕ್ವಲ್ ಟು 0, ರಿಯಾಕ್ಷನ್ ಇಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟೆಡ್, ಸೊ ವಿ ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ ಇಟ್ ಆಸ್ ಅ ಇನಿಷಿಯಲ್ ಕಾನ್ಸಂಟ್ರೇಷನ್. Products are not formed. Okay, yes. Now change in concentration, I told you, have you considered the concentration after time t with the degree of dissociation or a rate of dissociation as alpha? So its concentration decreasing. Again you understood the reactants we write with the minus negative sign, and products will write with the plus, because as the time proceeds, as the reaction proceeds, concentration of reactants decreasing, concentration of product is increasing. So this minus represents it is a reactant, plus represents that is a product. So minus 0.02, same value multiplied by degree of dissociation. Suppose if it is 50% dissociation, it is multiplied by half, that way. So alpha is a degree of dissociation. We don't know the value of that, which you have to calculate here. Okay, so this will remain same as we write as a C, the concentration of the substance. What we take here, same thing we'll write 0.02 for both. And since it is 1 mole each, that value remains same. Okay, ನೆನ್ಪಿಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಸಪೋಸ್ ಬೇರೆ ಈಕ್ವೇಶನ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಂಬರ್ ಆಫ್ ಮೋಲ್ಸ್ ಡಿಫರೆನ್ಸ್ ಇದ್ರೆ ನೀವು ಈ ನಂಬರಿಗೆ ಆ ನಂಬರ್ ಅನ್ನ ಮಲ್ಟಿಪ್ಲೈ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತಾ? ಸೊ ಸಪೋಸ್ ಇಫ್ ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ 2H3O plus is there, now it will not be 0.02, it is 2 into that value. Okay, so whatever the number comes in the balanced equation, that is to be multiplied. Since here hydronium ion and fluoride ion concentrations are same, 1 mole each, we take it as 0.02 and 0.02. Okay, so that is a concentration after time t. Okay, that's a change in concentration. Now finally comes the equilibrium concentration. So that is initial concentration minus the concentration or the substance which is involved in the reaction. So 0.02, this first value, minus 0.02 alpha. Artha aita? 0.02 minus this one, there is a changed concentration, 0.02 alpha. So that when you subtract, when you simplify, you'll get it. Here same value, will put a alpha symbol. That means the extent of reaction or degree of dissociation, if you know, you can substitute, but we don't know here, which you have to solve. So 0.02, same value, into alpha we write. That is a equilibrium concentration. Only on the reactant side we'll write initial minus the substance which is reacting. Here same value will write. Okay, now once you got the equilibrium concentrations, we can substitute these concentration values in the dissociation constant formula. Okay, you know that formula, dissociation constant, since it is an acid, it is a weak acid, Ka is equal to product by reactant. So 0.02 alpha into 0.02 alpha, that is a square I wrote, divided by this value of the reactant side, 0.02 minus 0.02 alpha. Artha aita? So dissociation constant we express as concentration of the products divided by concentration of the reactants. So it is multiplied, it becomes a square, and this is a concentration of HF. Okay, when you simplify, it becomes a 0.02 alpha square divided by 1 minus alpha. Okay, and now you'll ask from where this value came. It is given in the problem. The dissociation constant is given as 3.2 into 10 to the power minus 4. Okay, so Ka value we know, the expression we got here, and from this you can now change it to a quadratic equation to find out the value of alpha. Okay, so I'm not going to that details there, but try to understand from this expression we have to calculate the value of alpha. What is alpha, students? It is a degree of dissociation. Okay, ಎಷ್ಟು reaction ಆಗ್ತದೆ, what is the extent of reaction, that is represented as alpha. So from there you can get this quadratic equation, alpha square plus 1 minus 6 into 10 to the power minus 2 alpha minus 1.6 into the power minus 2 is equal to 0. Okay, so then from that quadratic equations, when you take the root, you will get the value of alpha as plus 0.12 and minus 0.12. Okay, here the negative values are not permissible, so we take this value only as the alpha value now, the positive value only. So alpha is equal to plus 0.12. Artha aita? So next what you have to understand, what is asked in the problem, degree of dissociation or alpha we have calculated. We have to now find out the concentration of HF, concentration of H3O plus, and concentration of F minus. Okay, that three we have to find out. And remember, when you know the equilibrium concentrations are equal for these products, the concentration of hydronium ion and fluoride ion remains the same. So concentration of hydronium ion and concentration of F minus, that is equal to C alpha. C you already know, that is 0.02. Alpha we just now got 0.12, so just multiply 0.02, it is given in the problem, 0.12 we got it now, so answer becomes 2.4 into 10 to the power minus 3. Okay, so this is a value of concentration of hydronium ion and fluoride ion, that is same. Okay, which is visible in the equation. The concentration of these two products remains same. ಎಲ್ಲ ಇಕ್ವೇಶನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಸೇಮ್ ಆಗಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಏನಿಲ್ಲ, ಬಟ್ ಈ ಬ್ಯಾಲೆನ್ಸ್ಡ್ ಇಕ್ವೇಶನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕಾನ್ಸಂಟ್ರೇಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ಹೈಡ್ರೋನಿಯಂ ಅಯಾನ್ ಮತ್ತೆ ಕಾನ್ಸಂಟ್ರೇಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ಫ್ಲೂರಿಡ್ ಅಯಾನ್ ಸೇಮ್ ಇದೆ. Okay, so once you can find out it is enough, that is C alpha only. Now one more concentration you have to calculate, that is a concentration of HF. Okay, so concentration of HF at equilibrium point, we know it is, we calculate it as 0.02 minus 0.02 alpha. Okay, or we can say if it is a C, this is C alpha, we write it as C minus C alpha. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆಯಾ? ಇದು ಇನಿಷಿಯಲ್ ಕಾನ್ಸಂಟ್ರೇಷನ್, ವಿ represent it as C. ಇದು ಎಕ್ಸ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಆಫ್ ರಿಯಾಕ್ಷನ್ ಒಟ್ಟಿಗೆ, ಸೊ ಸಿ ಆಲ್ಫಾ, ಸೊ ಸಿ ಮೈನಸ್ ಸಿ ಆಲ್ಫಾ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ದ ಈಕ್ವಿಲಿಬ್ರಿಯಂ ಕಾನ್ಸಂಟ್ರೇಷನ್. ಸೇಮ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ ವಿ ಸಬ್ಸ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಟ್ ಹಿಯರ್. ಸಿ ಮೈನಸ್ ಸಿ ಆಲ್ಫಾ ಹೇಗೆ ಬರೀಬಹುದು? ಸಿ ಇಂಟು 1 ಮೈನಸ್ ಆಲ್ಫಾ. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತಾ? ಎಚ್ ಎಫ್ ಕಾನ್ಸಂಟ್ರೇಷನ್ ಇಫ್ ಯು ವಾಂಟ್ ಟು ಫೈಂಡ್ ಔಟ್, ಸಿ ಮೈನಸ್ ಸಿ ಆಲ್ಫಾ ಆರ್ ಸಿ ಇಂಟು 1 ಮೈನಸ್ ಆಲ್ಫಾ. ಸಿ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂ ಗೊತ್ತಿದೆ 0.02, 1, same thing will substitute. Alpha we got it here, so minus 1 minus 0.12, and when you solve it you will get the answer 17.6 into 10 to the power minus 3. Okay, so we got the concentration of HF. Okay, now the last step. So what we have done, we already got the value of alpha, we got the concentration of HF, H3O plus and F minus. The last task here in this problem, what is asked is find out the value of pH. Okay, so what is the formula for pH? I told you in the last class, pH is equal to minus log to the base 10 of H plus. Okay, so we already got the concentration of hydronium ion here, that is 2.4 into 10 to the power minus 3. Okay, same thing we can substitute here, minus log to the base 10 of 2.4 into 10 to the power minus 3. When you solve it, you know how to simplify. Log AB is equal to log A plus log B, minus log to the base 10 of 10 to the power minus 3 becomes plus 3, log 2.4 you have to know, so 3 minus log 2.4, when you simplify you will get the answer 2.62. ಇದು pH ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂ. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಯೂನಿಟ್ ಇಲ್ವಾ ಅಂತ ಕೇಳ್ತೀರಿ ನೀವು. 2.62 ಅಷ್ಟೇ. pH ಸ್ಕೇಲ್ ರೇಂಜಸ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ 0 to 14, ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಅ ನಂಬರ್, ದರ್ ಇಸ್ ನೋ ಯೂನಿಟ್ ಫಾರ್ ದಟ್. ಕಾನ್ಸಂಟ್ರೇಷನ್ ಬರೆಯುವಾಗ ಮೋಲಾರ್ ಬರೀತೇವೆ, pH ಗೆ ಯೂನಿಟ್ ಇಲ್ಲ, just a number. Okay, so that's all in calculation of pH. I hope you understood. A little lengthy but not difficult. Students, we will continue the ionization constant for a weak basis. We already studied about acids, and now try to understand for the weak basis how the ionization takes place. Let me take up a simple example. A weak base MOH, it dissociates partially to form M plus and OH minus. ಈ ಚಾಪ್ಟರ್ ಕಲ್ತಿದ್ದೀರಿ, the substance which gives a OH minus is a base. Okay, so if it is a weak base undergoing partial dissociation to produce these two ions, we can easily express the dissociation constant like this, that is Kb. The dissociation constant of a weak base we can write as a Kb is equal to the ratio of molar concentration of M plus into molar concentration of OH minus divided by molar concentration of MOH. This is expression for a weak base dissociation constant, and we can represent it in a one more way, that is, if you consider the initial concentration of MOH as a C, it is not formed in the beginning, and the extent of dissociation, the rate of dissociation we consider as a C alpha, and this is also C alpha. Now the concentration of MOH left after time t or at equilibrium, we say it is C minus C alpha, and this comes as a C alpha and C alpha. So on that basis, if you substitute for this expression, we can get it as Kb is equal to the concentration of M plus will be C alpha, OH minus is also C alpha, divided by MOH, I told you initially is C, and concentration at equilibrium is C minus C alpha, which I can write as C minus C alpha like this. On simplification, it becomes a C square alpha square divided by C into 1 minus alpha. Now the C gets cancelled and expression remains C alpha square divided by 1 minus alpha. This is also an expression for dissociation constant of a weak base. Okay, so you understood it is a weak base undergoing partial dissociation, and this is a dissociation constant. Alternatively, we can write a dissociation constant like this, that is Kb is equal to C alpha square divided by 1 minus alpha, where Kb is a dissociation constant of weak base, C is the concentration, alpha is the extent of dissociation. Okay, so that you can easily calculate based on the whatever the values given in the problems. Okay, so that is easy about the dissociation constant of weak base. Okay, now look at some of the values of dissociation constant for some of the bases. Okay, when you look at this, you will understand all these are derivatives of ammonia. We call it as a different classes of amines. Okay, so before I tell you the values, I'll tell you something about ammonia, how it acts as a base. When ammonia added to water or aqueous solution of ammonia, it dissociates to give ammonium ion and OH minus. Since it produces a hydroxyl ion in the aqueous medium, ammonia acts as a base. And the different examples what we are discussing, they are all different derivatives of ammonia. When I said the derivatives of ammonia, if you replace one hydrogen, see NH3 is ammonia, formula gotide, remove one hydrogen, it becomes NH2 and replace it with some alkyl group. It becomes amine. And you can replace the one more hydrogen by one more alkyl group, becomes a secondary amine, and it can be aliphatic group or aromatic group. So there are different classes of amines we can study, which are all derivatives of ammonia. They are all basic in nature. So remember about this equation. Ammonia in the aqueous medium dissociates to produce OH minus, so it is a base. Okay, now some of the values of dissociation constants of bases like derivatives of ammonia you can understand. Dimethylamine, formula CH3 twice NH, the value of Kb is 5.4 into 10 to the power minus 4. Trimethylamine, this is a tertiary amine, CH3 thrice N, 6.45 into 10 to the power minus 5. Ammonia, which I told you here, it can be in the form of NH3 or in the aqueous medium we say ammonium hydroxide. Its dissociation constant 1.77 into 10 to the power minus 5. Pyridine, it is also derivative of nitrogen, 1.77 into 10 to the power minus 9. Aniline, it is an aromatic amine, C6H5NH2. The dissociation constant value 4.27 into 10 to the power minus 10. Urea, NH2CONH2. The dissociation constant is 1.3 into 10 to the power minus 14. So from this what you will understand, the ammonia and its derivatives which are acting as a basis, they have a dissociation constant like this. Okay, so that is about the dissociation constant. I think you understood. With this, remember this equation, that is easy, and you have no need to by heart the values of dissociation constants. Wherever the calculation comes, problems related to the dissociation constant comes, the value of Kb will be given. Okay, ಇದನ್ನು by heart ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತಿಲ್ಲ. ಆದರೆ dissociation equation ಏನು ಬಿಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ, and even the dissociation constant expression like product by reactant, that you have to remember. Okay, so that's all about the dissociation of weak bases. Okay students, now we'll understand about the relation between K and Kb. You know what is K and what is Kb? Dissociation constant of a weak acid and dissociation constant of weak base respectively. Let me take up an example. Ammonium ion in the aqueous solution forms a hydronium ion and ammonia. So when it is a conjugate acid base pair, since it is acidic in nature, we can write Ka. It is a Ka, dissociation constant of weak acid, we can write as hydronium ion into concentration of ammonia divided by concentration of ammonium. So the value experimentally calculated as a 5.6 into 10 to the power minus 10. We take this value just to compare how the Ka and Kb are related. So take up a second equation. Ammonia in aqueous medium forming ammonium ion and hydroxyl ion. So ammonia being a base, I told you earlier, it dissociates to produce ammonium ion and hydroxyl ion here in the aqueous medium. So Kb for that you can write as NH4 plus into OH minus divided by NH3, same thing. So the value of dissociation constant of that weak base is 1.8 into 10 to the power minus 5. We will take these two values for the calculation later. 5.6 into 10 to the power minus 10 Ka value, 1.8 into 10 to the power minus 5 Kb value. So when you add these two equations, the first one is ammonium reacting with water or dissolving in water forming hydronium ion and ammonia. Second one, ammonia dissolved in water forming ammonium and OH minus. So the net equation will be the two molecules of water forming H3O plus and OH minus. It's nothing but a dissociation of water or ionic product of water, and we know Kw is equal to H3O plus into OH minus is equal to 1 into 10 to the power minus 14. Okay, so now using these values, try to understand, if you multiply that Ka and Kb, the dissociation constants of weak acid and a weak base respectively. So same equations what we got, or the expressions for Ka and Kb will multiply, and finally left out with the H3O plus, the ammonia, NH4 plus, those cancels. Okay, you will understand when you multiply this NH3 cancels, NH4 plus NH4 cancel. So this, if it is cancelled, NH3 and NH3, what is left out there? It is H3O plus into OH minus. Okay, that is equal to Kw. Now if you substitute the values, I told you the dissociation constants of weak acid and weak base, what is given? 5.6 into 10 to the power minus 10 and 1.8 into 10 to the power minus 5. If you multiply those two values, again we get the value as 1 into 10 to the power minus 14. Okay, so from this what you will understand, if the dissociation constants of the different substances are given, then you can just multiply and you can get the K net, that is a equilibrium constant for the net reaction. Or it is in terms of the previous example what we studied, the conjugate acid base pair, Ka into Kb is equal to Kw. So what we derived till now, the relationship between K and Kb, Ka into Kb is equal to Kw. This is for conjugate acid base pair. Are you clear? So it is only for conjugate acid base pair. For other substances, if there is a more than one reaction, we consider n number of dissociation constants may be there. Just multiplication of that will be giving the dissociation constant for the net reaction. Okay, so that is about relation between Ka and Kb. I hope you understood. Artha aitala, a conjugate acid base pair bandaga Ka into Kb is equal to Kw. Ade ಬೇರೆ ಬೇರೆ acids bases idre you can write the net reaction like the previous one. Okay, so if it may be asked for a 1 mark, what is the relationship between Ka and Kb in a conjugate acid base pair, you have to know Ka into Kb is equal to Kw. Artha aita? So this is simple about relation between Ka and Kb. Okay students, coming back to dissociation constants or dissociation of polyprotic acids, or we can also call it as polybasic acids. Now we'll ask a question, what do you mean by polyprotic acid? Everybody know what is an acid, but what do you mean by poly? Poly means many, protic means proton. The acid which on dissociation gives a more than one proton is called as a polyprotic acid. Just like if I say HX, it dissociates partially to give H plus and X minus. Now this is a monobasic acid, it gives only one proton. Okay, suppose if I write H2X, the examples like oxalic acid, sulfuric acid and many more, they have two replaceable hydrogen atoms, so they have two protons after dissociation. So how can I write this equation? This H2X on first dissociation, it will produce one H plus, then it will form HX minus. Okay, so that HX minus again dissociates to produce second proton and then becomes a X2 minus. Now when there are two different equations like this, concentrate on this. This is one of the examples in general for a polybasic acid. So there are two replaceable protons. Okay, if you take example, like I will give an example, then it becomes clear to you. H2SO4 on dissociation, actually it is a strong acid, I can't write a reversible sign, but it will produce first H plus and SO4, HSO4 minus, then that HSO4 minus again producing H plus and SO4 2 minus. Okay, now the question is, if there is a dissociation for more than one time, or the polybasic or polyprotic acids producing H plus ions in the different steps, now the dissociation constant for the first one I'll write as Ka1. You know what is Ka? Dissociation constant of a weak acid, and that is the first step, and this is Ka2. Okay, so if you take examples like a phosphoric acid, it may have a three replaceable protons there. Okay, H3PO4 producing H plus in a three different steps. So now interestingly, what you have to understand, this Ka1 and Ka2 if you compare, okay, and there may be other steps, which values will be greater? Okay, so remember, in case of polyprotic acids or polybasic acids, or the other case also, polyacidic bases also there. Okay, ಇದು acidic ಆಯ್ತಲ್ಲ, ಬೇಸಿಕ್ ಆಗುವಾಗ ಎಷ್ಟು OH minus replaceable ಇದೆ, if more than one OH minus is there, it becomes a polyacidic base. ನೆನ್ಪಿಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ, ಸೋಡಿಯಂ ಹೈಡ್ರಾಕ್ಸೈಡ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದೇ OH ಮೈನಸ್, ಅದೇ ಕ್ಯಾಲ್ಸಿಯಂ ಹೈಡ್ರಾಕ್ಸೈಡ್ ಮೆಗ್ನೀಷಿಯಂ ಹೈಡ್ರಾಕ್ಸೈಡ್ ಬರೆದ್ರೆ CaOH ಟ್ವೈಸ್, ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಎರಡು OH ಮೈನಸ್ ಅಯಾನ್ಸ್ ಇದೆ. ಸೊ ಇಫ್ ಇಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ ಮೋರ್ ದೆನ್ ಒನ್ OH ಮೈನಸ್, ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಕಾಲ್ಡ್ ಅ ಪಾಲಿಅಸಿಡಿಕ್ ಬೇಸ್. ಓಕೆ, ಮೋರ್ ದೆನ್ ಒನ್ H ಪ್ಲಸ್ ಅಯಾನ್ಸ್ ಪ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ಆದ್ರೆ ಪಾಲಿಬೇಸಿಕ್ ಆಸಿಡ್ಸ್, ನೆನ್ಪಿಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಸೊ ಹಿಯರ್ Ka1 and Ka2 if you compare, okay, simple concept you have to remember. The higher order dissociation constants is always smaller than lower order dissociation constants. ನೆನ್ಪಿಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ, Ka3, Ka4 higher values ಬಂದ್ರೆ the higher order of dissociation constants is always smaller than lower value of or lower order of dissociation constant. You may ask, what is the reason here? Okay, simple. After losing one or more protons, what happens is removal of the positively charged species becomes very difficult. Okay, due to high electrostatic force, ಈ ಪಾಸಿಟಿವ್ ಅಯಾನ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ಮತ್ತೆ ಫರ್ದರ್ ಸ್ಟೆಪ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ರಿಮೂವ್ ಮಾಡೋದು ತುಂಬಾ ಕಷ್ಟ ಆಗ್ತದೆ. ಸೊ ದ ಹೈಯರ್ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂಸ್, ವಾಟ್ ಐ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಸೇ, ಸಪೋಸ್ ಇಫ್ Ka3 is there, this value will be smaller than Ka1, Ka2 and Ka1, like this. Okay, so these values are similar, or we can understand the dissociation constants are smaller of higher order values because it is very difficult to remove the H plus ions or positively charged species due to larger electrostatic force. Okay, so remember dissociation constants in case of polyprotic acids, okay, or polybasic acids, we can remember more than one H plus ions displace ಆದ್ರೆ ಅದನ್ನ ನಾವು polyprotic acid ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೇವೆ. ಪ್ರೋಟಾನ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ H plus. Okay, so here we can understand n number of examples we can give, okay, which can give more than one proton. Okay, that's all about the dissociation constants or dissociation of a polyprotic acid. ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ರೆಷನ್ ಬರ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗಿದಲ್ಲ ನಿಮಗೆ, Ka1 ಹೇಗೆ ಬರಿಬಹುದು, ಕಾನ್ಸಂಟ್ರೇಷನ್ ಆಫ್ H plus into concentration of HX minus divided by H2X. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಏನ್ ನಾವು ವೀಕ್ ಆಸಿಡ್ ವೀಕ್ ಬೇಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕಲ್ತಿದ್ದೇವೆ ಅದನ್ನೇ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಅಪ್ಲೈ ಮಾಡೋದು. Ka1, what is expression for Ka1? I am not explaining now because you already understood. Concentration of the products divided by concentration of the reactants. H plus into HX minus divided by H2X. Ka2 expression, how it will be? H plus into X2 minus divided by HX minus. Okay, so that is easy way you represent the dissociation constants. Are you clear? So give reasoning type questions ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕೇಳಬಹುದು. Higher order dissociation constants in case of polyprotic acid, why it is smaller compared to lower order? Okay, I told you the reason. It is due to larger electrostatic force. Removal of positively charged species becomes difficult. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತಾ? So that's all about polyprotic acids.